Hi, and welcome to another Let's Play of Zodiac Legion. Today, we'll want to showcase a certain new feature that we've added recently. And for this, as always, we'll need to pick the correct party of knights for the mission ahead. This time, we'll be going with a little bit of a lighter, armored, more mobile party with Gemini instead of Taurus, and Sagittarius, 2 scouts, and 2 heavily armored footmen, because you always need a roadblock or 2. The mission we start is Jailbreak. In Jailbreak, our task is to navigate a prison of an enemy faction, to find an ancient brother of the Zodiac Order, and escort him back to our citadel, where we can make use of his old wisdom. Hopefully, if he shares it with us. Hopefully, if he's still alive. As always, the mission starts with this entry point around the shiny teleporter beacon. Opening one of the doors reveals that the enemy is trying to beset us from the very start. More of them behind the other door as well. Gasp! The garrison of this prison, as you can see, are mostly skeletons and constructs. The golem here has very high defense, and it will take the combined might of our entire party to get rid of it. Fortunately, Gemini is an assassin kind of character. He can teleport behind the golem and backstab him, evading his high defense with a flanking maneuver. Now all it takes is just bashing it down with everything it takes. Everything it takes. Eve can't even do damage to it. But the 5 other knights, can they kill it? Yes. The golem goes down, and now Roland, the scout, will have to hold the fray. Which might be hard for him, because he is armed with a t-shirt and a buckler. But he is a bold knight, and I'm sure he can succeed at this. We have full confidence in his capabilities. Passing the turn makes more enemies converge on us. Ha! I told you. Roland can, well, yeah, Roland can hold his ground even if he gets bashed in the face. Of course, the garrison also includes some humans, like this here halberdier, because someone has to control all the mindless undead and other things. Sagittarius pushes the skeleton away from Roland to give him some breathing space, while Gemini moves forth to flank the Triarius. Unfortunately, they can't bring it down, the 2 of them, but I'm sure that Eve will be able to... Nope. So far, Eve is definitely underperforming. This will go on his performance report for the end of this year. Arnulf chops down the auxiliary. Leonhard will do some damage to the halberdier. And we should have a pretty safe arrangement for the enemy turn here. These 2 fellows can hardly do anything to our footman. The auxiliary tries to move past Gemini and is intercepted. The halberdier is also intercepted by Leonhard, which is good, because interception leaves these enemies more vulnerable during our turn. Gemini and Roland will take this auxiliary down, and these should be easy pickings for the rest of our men. For Arnulf, and perhaps also for Leonhard. Yes. Now Sagittarius and Eve will stack up at these doors. A double door leading forth is a sure sign of trouble, so we would be wise to proceed through them with the full might of our party. But this will require a bit more stacking up first. We shouldn't dally too long, because the alarm is surely but slowly increasing. As you can see here, this torture chamber is full of these glowy tiles. We call these suspicious tiles. The suspicious tiles denote that something may be hidden under them. The something can be a trap, or some mechanism to spring whatever else on the map, or actually it could be nothing at all. But we won't know that either before moving through them or revealing them with a special action. Fortunately, we have 3 characters capable of revealing suspicious tiles: Eve, Roland, and Gemini, so we shouldn't be wasting too much time on doing that. All these enemy archers were placed themselves behind the suspicious tiles, as if trying to bait us to go through them, but they didn't expect our superior range in the form of Leonard's halberd and Sagittarius's bow to wreck them where they stand with total safety. But to get to the other guy, we might actually consider revealing these. Let's see what we have here. In fact, there is a spike trap here. Spike traps are nasty. Spike traps are nasty, but they are just as nasty for us as for the enemy. Once we have revealed one, we can use them to our advantage, and Sagittarius first pushes the archer into the trap with telekinesis before finishing him off with the bow. The traps can only be eliminated or disarmed with a special action governed by skill. Otherwise, they will harm every character that passes through them. They have they don't expire after a certain number of uses. So if they are placed in some kind of choke point where you have to take your entire party through, you will have to disarm it unless you really want to harm your knights for nothing. And since the disarm action is a skill check, it can fail you at the worst possible moment, which is also another factor that you should take into account, especially in the middle of battle. It's an interesting dilemma, actually, whether you can get away with taking your knights through a trap, eating some damage, but reliably moving through it, or possibly wasting time for nothing, trying to disarm it. We proceed from the torture chamber into some kind of charnel house, guarded by even more weak enemies. Arnulf and Gemini set up a formation around this skeleton, killing it. And Leonard will try to dispose of the other one successfully. The healing font here should work nicely to get Roland up to speed, since he suffered some injuries at the start of this level. And now we can move forth and see what's on the other side of this door. Surely it is going to hide even more enemies. Hello? Well, perhaps not. Just as well. Another heal font, which should be pretty useful for Sagittarius to regain his mana. But let us keep going through this. This would look like the living quarters for the guards. Unless the prisoners here enjoy some very nice conditions. But there are no prisoners here, so this must be for the guards after all. Continue on our way. Ooh, some kind of armory. And you know what an armory means? An armory means goodies to loot, guards to kill. Sagittarius, what can we do with you? We can use you to get this grunt a bit closer to our men. And this footman still remains within his line of sight, but shooting enemies with shields is often not a very good idea. Gemini gives Arnulf a little push here to get him into the range of this guard and slice him and dice him. Leonhard will guard the door, while Gemini still has enough movement to teleport next to this skeleton and also shank him. Probably won't kill him because Gemini doesn't do a lot of damage. He's not a heavy hitter like Taurus or Leo, but his movement abilities and generally high movement on his own are just as much of an asset. Eve could have finished the archer, but instead he decided to shoot the shielded footman for whatever reason, and as I said before, shooting shielded enemies is often not a very good idea. The footman tries to get past Leonhard, but is intercepted. Sagittarius will move in to lay down the law. Or maybe not. It is Gemini who will lay down the law. Arnulf and Leonhard should be able to kill this footman very nicely, especially since he is vulnerable after the interception. And what do we have here? A rune of Pisces! A fishy rune. And you know what is also fishy? This suspicious tile here. Revealing it shows a pressure plate. And standing on this pressure plate reveals an ancient Chinese secret. Indeed. Pressure plates can also hide under suspicious tiles, and they may open secret doors that would otherwise be unavailable to us. Secret doors can only be opened with the right, well, secret mechanism, or, just like any other wall in the game, they can be bashed down if you have the relevant ability, but since we didn't take Taurus for this trip, we wouldn't be able to destroy that wall. Let's see what's over here. The alarm level has arisen. You could have had some doors being opened during the enemy turn, and as you can see, at this point we finally started getting the enemy's attention. They will try to converge on us now, so we might want to proceed with a little bit more care. There's a suspicious tile in the middle of all these enemies. We could try pushing the archer into it and seeing if it is a trap, but it's a bit of a gamble. First we should focus on killing this mage. He might be a mage, but that halberd he's sporting is very nasty, and we wouldn't want him to rampage through our men. Fortunately, he is pretty flimsy as mages tend to be, since he has no armor, but who can we kill him with? Perhaps Eve? Yes. Low armor does that to you. Even a green scout with a bow can kill you dead. Roland moves in to provide support for Gemini, who will attack this archer without killing him, of course. Well, can Sagittarius kill this guy? Indeed. Very nice. Impressive. Passing the turn. The skeleton trips over the suspicious tile, revealing it for us, and revealing no trap under it. Good that we didn't try to push that archer into it, or we'd be feeling very silly right now. This fellow is trying to outshoot us through the entire corridor. Good luck with that. Leon should be able to dispose of this skeleton. Gemini can teleport next to this guy, past all these traps and suspicious tiles, and kill him safely and efficiently. Now, this guy has to go down, and Arnulf is happy to oblige. Let us try to inspect this. These suspicious tiles. 2 traps laid across the floor. We'll have to disarm at least one of them. And maybe now we can inspect the mysterious vault. I said, inspect the mysterious vault. Come on. Yes. Inside we have 2 chests, a healing font, and a lot of other magical trash that is worthless to us. We are not some kind of association of beggar knights. We won't be seen going around picking up bronze vases. We are in only for the most valuable loot. Roland tries to disarm the spike trap and succeeds. We won't have to worry about that one anymore. Sagittarius should be able to bring this one down, clearing the way for Gemini. Oh, well. There's a lot of enemies here. Fortunately, of the weaker kind. Gemini does a whopping 1 damage to the skeleton. He could use some support from his stronger fellows. And maybe from Eve as well. Leonhardt moving in as well. The archer gets an arrow into Eve. And Gemini, he can hold the front here pretty well. He is very lightly armored for a Zodiac champion, but he is still high level enough. Oh, a flanking maneuver! How dastardly! These skeleton archers are in for a surprise if they think they can outshoot us. Eve may be weak, but Sagittarius can turn them all into pincushion. As much as you can turn a skeleton into pincushion, but I digress. Come on, Leonard. Kill this auxiliary. And then Gemini takes down this archer, allowing Arnold to move in and cleave through another one. Can he do it? Surely he can. Indeed. Roland. Roland, what do we do about you? And the rest of you? Sagittarius can try shooting these, but there's no real purpose to do it at such a long range. He can move in to reduce the range penalties a bit. And down goes one skeleton. Eve. He can move forward and assist his brothers. Although, given that he is already injured and there are 2 archers here, including a golem archer, he might yet regret rushing this far. But a knight's honor demands that he is always on the front lines. Oh. Wouldn't expect a grunt to break away from Arnold. This is looking precarious. The archer actually manages to hunt Sagittarius too. The construct gets Eve down to 1 health. But he survives by the skin of his teeth. Sagittarius here can retreat towards the vault, or not, because that doesn't give him the line of sight on the skeleton. But still, a magic arrow gets rid of him very quickly. More of them coming in through the guard quarters. While our fellows here are slowly but surely clearing out the main prison area. If only Gemini had the mana to teleport behind all these archers, but alas, he can only rush forward. Arnold can chop up this guy, and Roland will approach the construct together with Gemini actually. We might want to just, you know, set up some buffers around him to make his shooting harder, while Eve retreats to the prison commander's office and takes a sip of Coca-Cola to regain his strength. Let's see what happens here. The golem shoots at something, but apparently not quite successfully. Sagittarius can surely hold his ground against these footmen, while Eve continues to plunder the commander's office. A study of Stellaris Codex! Yes, this will be very useful to us. Arnulf. Now to bring down this golem. You may remember the golem from the start of this mission that took our entire party to bring down, and this will be no different. It might be just an archer, but it is just as heavily armored. Still, whacking and whacking and whacking at it will eventually bring it down. Sagittarius. Can he kill this guard? Well, can he? Can he? He's having second thoughts, I guess. We still have Leonhard here to assail the construct. And Sagittarius overcomes his doubts to shoot the guard. to no avail. Yes, shooting armored enemies is not often a very wise idea. Fortunately, the enemies are just as successful. Sagittarius might be in a bit of a trouble here actually, so we retreat him towards the vault. And you know what they say? When life gives you lemons, there is only one choice. Lay down the law. And thus Sagittarius should now be free to loot this vault to our heart's content. And Eve will move in to assist him in that. Now let's clear out this mosh pit. Arnold should be able to cleave through this, yes. The construct goes down, and with the construct down, we basically assured our victory at this point. Because Roland and Gemini can easily destroy this final skeleton, and Leonard will release the prisoners. Let my people go. Ah, there we have our brother. The years appear to have been very harsh on him. I wonder if there are still any enemies left in this place, actually. Doesn't seem like it. Sagittarius takes a gulp, while Eve loots an essence of air and ancient fragments of star metal. Good. All this stuff will let us craft and research new opportunities back at the Citadel when we return home. And Leonhard chats up the ancient legionary to awaken him and bring him to our side and under our command. Now all that remains is to take him back to the teleporter. Unfortunately, he is pretty slow. These old bones aren't made for walking. Still. Arnulf will perhaps return towards Sagittarius and Eve just in case, while the rest of our brothers will escort Flavius to the exit. Shouldn't be much. Oh! Well! I was about to say that there shouldn't be much trouble left. But these three angry men might actually be able to chop up our archers. But fortunately Sagittarius used the healing font just a moment ago, so he can drop another fireball on their asses. Eve, of course, can't do anything against the Centurion. So we have to hope that Arnulf can distract him efficiently, or at least hold him in place and stop him from wrecking weaker members. Come on, Flavius. Shake a leg. Fortunately, we can give him a little push. Yoink! Roland and Gemini secure the fray. Leonard will be the rear guard. And let's see what happens over here. Yes. Arnold manages to intercept the Centurion, preventing him from moving forth. And all he can do is impotently lash out at our swordsman. wounding him in the deed a little, but Arnulf responds with righteous fury. And it would appear that this is all the opposition that this prison could offer us. Excellent. Most satisfactory. We have succeeded without any casualties. Yoink. Now, all that remains is to get out of here. Ta-da! We are victorious! Thank you for watching.